Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode 177 of the Lumber Word. We've got guest Kyle Little from Sherwood Lumber. Welcome, Kyle. Appreciate having you on again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we're going to jump right into it. And Greg, I'm going to let you introduce Kyle and NAWLA so we can jump into what's coming up in the traders market.
Okay. Yeah. Certainly.
Yeah, the reason I'm doing that is because I have been told by Greg you have never missed one traders market yet, and there's no way you're going to miss Anaheim.
That's right. I mean, they're trying to make it hard. I'm thinking that, like, if next year they decide, to have it in, like, Kathmandu or something, that might make it challenging.
I think it's Columbus. I think it's Columbus the year after. I believe
Bob Seeger would go to that one.
Yeah, like I said, Kathmandu. Although we were in Columbus a few years ago, and I think we all felt that it was a great venue, Columbus.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised.
Anaheim, I'm just saying, is like I feel like I'm going to Disneyland. That's all. Just feel like I'm going to Disneyland. But listen, Kyle is the CEO of the NAWLA board of directors for in 2026, and I'm so happy that you've taken that and that role on, Kyle. And I know I personally understand what goes into the ramp up to that, and the time and energy that you put in, and I'm sure that I'll be interested to see if you feel the same way that I did. Is that number one was that I got more out of it than I put into it, and I felt like I put a lot into it, and also just how quickly the time goes by. From the time you raise your hand and say, yes, I'll do that, until it's done. And I know this is kind of you're a short timer now, right?
Yeah, I am. And just to accurately, I am actually the immediate past chair of NAWLA, so I'm even more so on my.
You're the immediate past chair.
I am the immediate past chair. Judy Haney from Boise Cascade Distribution is our chair this year. She's doing an amazing job. We just concluded our executive committee retreat last week in Boston, Massachusetts. Had a great time seeing some industry friends there, as well as spending some time with our group and really solidifying the next steps of NAWLA's 3-year strategic plan. And you talked about Anaheim as kind of being the place. Like, it is bizarre. I've never been to Anaheim to a convention, so it's a first for me, as I think it's going to be for many of us. However, it's one that provides NAWLA a place a little bit similar to what was old in Chicago, being that the main hotel, is going to be connected to the convention center. So you're going to have a much more, a larger venue, but also one that is condensed into one area, where you're not going to have a lot of the delegates going to a variety of different things, unless, of course, they want to go to Disneyland and, with their families, but, you're not going to prevent that. But Anaheim is the place this year, and it is NAWLA's 30th anniversary for the traders market. I think, Greg, you probably have been to, the majority of them. I have as well.
Kyle, I've been to every single one.
Wow. Perfect.
And, and I'm still waiting for Matt to give me, like something for that. And he always goes like, well, we don't have records back. I'm going, dude, I'm telling you, I haven't missed one. And,
so, and I think
this is my shameless plug for that.
Well, that's great. And I think hopefully after this year, you not only want to, come to them going forward, but, you'll be promoting other people to do so as well. And the whole intention, quite frankly, as we move forward with particularly our strategic plan, it was for NAWLA over time kind of became, and Greg would probably agree with this, we became very stagnant in the way that we did things and how the industry was working in a two-step distribution or wholesale brokerage model, and it was not evolving to the way that the industry has changed and how the supply chain meets with the consumption. So and what one of NAWLA's core pillars has always been networking, right, and education. And And for a period of time, you know, after the great financial collapse in 2008, when we needed to go out there and really ramp up, you know, membership, one of the obstacles that we put in place, but it was something that was necessary at the time, was we had this great asset of the traders market, and we made it at that point. You were required to be a member to participate in the traders market as a sawmill producer, as a service affiliate, or as a wholesaler. And prior to the great financial collapse, that the traders market was always open to anybody in the wholesale industry. So for a period of time, it really pushed our membership up because we lost membership from 2008 through 2015. But after that, kind of stagnated and started to tail off. So one of the big pushes that I've been working on over the last 3 years in my time at the board is how do we become a more inclusive organization, and being the conduit of networking in our industry, whether you're a producer, whether you're a two-step distributor, one-step distributor, a component manufacturer, or a retailer. Like, how does NAWLA become more inclusive to that overall group? So for those of you who might or might not know, this year in 2026 traders market is open to all anybody in the industry, member or non-member, producer or retailer. So, and we've had
so like multifamily, you know, like a multifamily developer, you know, a jobber, you know, the guy that just wants to come hang out with lumber people, you know, maybe fans of the lumber word can just come and, like, you know, see us. Okay. All right.
I don't think, you know, you use the word developer. Multifamily supplier would be the answer there. Like we're not asking you know, Pulte to come to this thing, because it's not necessarily a place for.
But if they wanted to come, could they come?
I think they should apply, and let's see what happens. You know, the thing is let's
whoa, non-answer penalty.
I think just
no, I'm saying, hey, we have a lot of listeners who are multifamily developers, and they buy from, you know, the jobbers, they buy from Matt, they buy from Charles, they buy from you. And if they wanted to come, could they come?
Yeah, I would say from a developer standpoint, that's a little unclear, to be fair.
Okay.
But I will follow up this conversation and ask. I will say the suppliers of those multifamily developers, whether it's yourself or a jobber or whoever it might be in the industry, by all means, retailers can come, national retailers, regional, and so forth. I think the whole point was to try to find, you know, somebody that's reselling to a, you know, because the word wholesale is a very broad term. You could look at, you know, Builders First Source and QXO and any of these other multinational organizations or multi-state organizations, and put them as under the wholesale contingent. So, again,
what if I'm a buying group? Can I come?
Yes. In fact, the bylaws have just been updated in NAWLA. Well, buying groups can actually become members of NAWLA now, and we've already had multiple that have applied for membership and been accepted.
Hey, when I was a rookie, I went to.
This is great. This is great. Matt, 1 second, and then I'll be back.
Okay.
Like, this was 20 plus years ago that, like, the debate on, like, hey, let's open up big tent. You know, I mean, we're not going big tent like the Democratic Party yet and allowing communists into our association, but
they can apply.
But they can apply.
So let's just go back to one of the bylaws that we changed was inclusive of that. But in addition to that, the governing body of NAWLA can now have a buying group representative on the board of directors. We can also have mill, you know, we already do have mill representation or producer representation on the board of directors. But the big change of this is now a mill representative can be elected to the executive committee and run through the chairs of NAWLA. So you could have somebody from Sierra Pacific or somebody from Irving Forest or any one of the producers in our segment now
Oh
be
God, we don't want that.
chair of NAWLA. Yeah, so Matt, so Hampton could now be, anyways, but
Hampton
Hampton
could now be chair. Oh, that's right. We've done that.
They already had that one already, but you know that their percentage of their business is wholesale. I get it, but the whole point was, I think the general theme is, you know, mill representation, mill stewardship and partnership with the supply chain is so important for our industry.
Yeah.
And having them, you know, one of the challenging parts when I talked about NAWLA over the last 20 years, and for a period of time, it became very stale. Nothing was changing. And one of the big things that I pushed and with my time on the board was getting conflicting point of views to be part of our board. And so we could go out there and make significant change. So you don't like what's happening at NAWLA, you don't like what's happening in your community. Well, you know, join your local, you know, civic association, join your board, you know, volunteer board at NAWLA. And we've done that with some key individuals, and it's really, we've made some, you know, pretty large steps over the last 2 or 3 years in regard to that. This was a long time coming. I'm glad we're finally at a point where we can create a more inclusive event. Hopefully it turns into, you know, one of these larger industry events. You know, I look at, using the term with the board, kind of replicating the world of concrete. Think about if we could create the world of lumber or the world of wood, and NAWLA is the, you know, presenting that, and it becomes more of an economic and an industrial summit than so much of a, you know, a trade show. So I think there's some
ideally you kind of want everybody in the industry all in one place at the same time, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of the point. It's funny, you go back and talk to some of these guys that have been in the business or retired now, and you know, they went to these shows in San Francisco, the Pine Show back in the 70s, and they talk about all these Eugene hoo-hoos. I mean, this industry's always had gatherings, and you know, they're, for people that haven't been to one, I'm telling you, you should go at least once. It's pretty cool. You're gonna, first time I ever met Greg was at NAWLA in Chicago. And so, you know, there's benefits to it. You'll network, you'll end up meeting people, and those people will become important in your business and in your life. I mean, Greg and I are fast friends now. We have a lot in common. We've done a lot of business back and forth with each other, and we do this pod together. So, you know, organic growth through just networking is the key trick there. I have a question though. The question I have is, when I was a rookie in 1994, they sent me to Louisiana Tech University for a week, and Willamette Industries was sponsoring it. They gave us tours of their sawmills, and they were building an OSB plant down there. Was that a NAWLA thing, the rookie lumber trading school?
I believe that was called Wood Basics, probably.
Yeah. Is that NAWLA, or is that's run
NAWLA.
By some?
Well, NAWLA.
Hey, are you still doing that? Because that was really, really beneficial to me and a lot of other people. There was probably 50 or 60 people there for a week. I got to meet people from all over the country that I'd never would have met in the industry. And it was just, I remember that as being a really good, and I did learn a lot type of experience, you know, but that kind of practical knowledge, we get back to the practical knowledge thing. You know, you guys are providing that as a service to the industry. So kudos.
And Matt, they
run something out, Matt, called the Executive Management Institute. And I remember back when I went to it, I ended up, you know, it's a little bit smaller group, but I mean, there ended up being at least, you know, a half a dozen people that ended up being very, very close industry friends. As a result of that, you know, they all went on to have much bigger careers than I did. But I was happy for them for that. And I was happy for the friendship that I had with them, more importantly.
Yeah. So like, you know, you mentioned Wood Basics. The next Wood Basics is in Corvallis, Washington, or Oregon, at Oregon State. It's actually the one I went to when I started in the business. It was awesome. And you get to tour all the local mills. It's September 21st through the 24th. And I think there's about 8 or 9 spots still available for that one. So like any
Kyle,
of your companies that are doing that.
Is that open, Kyle? Is that open to again to all? Is that open to?
I will tell you, Wood Basics has always been open to anybody in our industry. We've had retailers go to that. We've had wholesalers go to that. We've had, you know, advisors and the people that are trying to understand about the lumber industry that want to support it, like that aren't directly selling even wood products, have gone to those events, as well as what Greg mentioned in the EMI. EMI is also open to anybody in the industry. And EMI, I went to my first one in Corvallis, but I went to my second one last year because I was chair of NAWLA, and it's at the Kellogg School of Business at Northwestern, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It'll be offered again next year. It's not offered every year; it's an every other year thing.
And I heard that place is a dump, though, Northwestern.
And that was
I mean, wait till you see the new stadium. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping one day they might even give me the call up, Matt, and I can give them I can have a whole like session on social media and the lumber business. I'd have you as a guest too. But the one thing I will say, just in kind of maybe closing on this, Ash, so we can talk market a little bit, was that NAWLA at its core is about networking and the opportunity. We all sit in our little cubicles and we're emailing and we're texting. And I mean, apparently I hear that, some people don't even pick up the phone anymore. I've heard that. I don't know. But the relationships that you foster, that you generate through NAWLA are lifelong relationships that extend beyond just the lumber business. And, I think about the friends that I have that we're not involved, they're not in the business anymore, but we're still friends, right?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with business. So.
Yep. Yeah, I think to sum it up, like the paradigm shift that we're like focused on at NAWLA right now is our role as the middle market, because that's what we all are in, right? We're in the middle of the market trying to go and resell stuff that we don't produce. Our role is to go out there and help demand meet supply, or supply meet demand. And how can we do that in a better spot, knowing that that supply channel has evolved, but all of us still have significant roles in that. Like whether or not I'm selling the same customer as Greg, or same customer as Matt, which you guys actually talked about last week on your show, like I have a different value proposition to that customer than Greg has or Matt has or what have you. And that's why we do business together. And I think
I heard you were just cheaper. I heard you just had a cheaper price.
I just asked what price is Greg at? Take 5 off.
I need the order.
But I think I heard. The gist. But I think if we can like focus more on that in our specific value propositions as being in the middle of the market, the proper amount of business, the business that you earn will become much greater than you ever imagined. So I think it's a really cool thing, and I hope that we can build off of it. Please promote the traders market this year. I think it has the potential, if we can get this word out, that it can be one of the best ever. But we'll have to go through a lot of obstacles, because I think NAWLA, unfortunately, over the years has created this a little bit of an obstacle of being participatory of it, and we really want to be more inclusive and bringing more people in.
Kyle,
I can't believe it took 20 plus years to get here, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Wow.
And we'll put on the show notes the link for it for you, and the contact information. So by all means, I think it should be a great show, and there'll be a lot of people going there.
And what we want to do is we want to make sure that Matt Bruno measures the response that he gets from the lumber word, so we can use that as against him.
Hey, Matt
Bruno is our executive director. Yeah, I know. So.
Matt's always great. Matt always comments on the show and listens, which is cool. And then
Matt's a great executive director.
And the other goal will be to get Charles to actually register to go to a NAWLA event, and possibly
we're gonna get him there.
Sign up.
Charles, let's I don't know if you and Mitch in Disneyland, that would be fun. I don't know which one of you is Goofy and which one of you is Daffy. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know. You got to find time, man. Got too much going on.
Well, listen, I'll just jump into a quick summary. I mean, if you listened to the show last week, we talked about getting in front of selling some futures, even though we thought the market could still go a little bit higher. From what we've seen in our little pig farm here, is our order file has come in. The orders we're getting are still good, but business has slowed down from the SKUs that we deal in. On our side, Southern Yellow Pine, I heard Charles talking to Greg this morning, is trading, below what the print is significantly on many of the items. And Matt, like you guys out there in the Pacific Northwest, printed up yesterday and are still moving higher on some items. And then we had the little Can 4 announcement with Fox Creek yesterday. So, Kyle, man, since you're a guest, you jump in and tell us what you're seeing on the cash side of the market with the people you're dealing with.
Yeah, so our organization is heavy distribution, but I will say that the last 2 weeks, from a sales pace, I always like to see our sales orders being greater than what we're shipping every single day. And the last 2 weeks, we've definitely seen where we're shipping more than what we're selling. So our order file is going smaller. The business that we're getting, it's not like it requires tremendous changes in the prices. There's certain items that I think we can all note, like 9s and maybe 2x4 16s, but 2x6 is still like ridiculously hard to cover and blah, 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 blah. But generally speaking, I think the market is going through its normal seasonal trend. This is kind of the summer doldrums. Kind of expected it to be people to wait and see what's going to happen with the Canadian mills, in shutdowns and coming back from those to see if there's an opportunity to maybe pick off some things on weakness. And also it's a change too, which I don't think we talk about it enough, is like Southern Yellow Pine leads the way. And this time of year, Southern Yellow Pine typically is, seasonally one of the slowest times. Not a lot is being produced in the South, not a lot is being consumed in the South because the days are shorter. It's just too hot to operate and what have you. But so we're in this kind of a sideways move, and people are kind of waiting and seeing what to do next. I think the good thing from what we're seeing is the people that we poll is inventories in the field, including ours at a distribution level, are pretty. They're pretty low overall. I wouldn't say that they're like extremely low, but they're. I think the reason we've seen prices grind higher most of this year is that's this conservative inventory management, strategy this year. So, which allows people to, place. Come to the market more often with smaller orders because they have to go out there and replace what they need. But there's no opportunity right now that I can see for major positioning. We missed that happened a month and a half ago, and now we're kind of working our inventories into a more manageable position to determine the next step. And my concern is that we get some sort of resolution this quarter in the war. And, it gives people reason to feel a little bit better about things, and sentiment changes a little bit, and all of a sudden demand increases a small amount. And I only think demand has to increase a small amount for prices to move a lot higher than what they are today.
I mean, one of the really interesting things is last Friday, new home sales came out, and it was a surprise. The number was up from the prior month. And the thing that really was surprising to me is the median sales price of a new home sold in June was $398,000. And that's the median price a year ago was $508,000. Think about that. In a year, the median price. Now, there's not apples and oranges. It's apples and oranges because of home size and the regions that they're sold in, right? I mean, that does come into play, but it's still
and also inventory available in the marketplace for those homes is more plentiful this year, which is good. That's taking care of the affordability issue potentially.
Right, it's 9.3 months is the new home inventory right now, which is a really good. That contrasts to existing homes that. The median price of an existing home now is $440,000, and they have, I think it's still only like 3.7 month supply or something crazy like that. But it blows me away when I think about that switch from like pre-COVID at how much a premium a new home was to an existing, and the inventories versus today.
Discount.
Yeah. But I mean, I think the biggest thing on housing is the strength of multifamily. Year to date, single families down. Year to date, multifamilies up again this year after being up last year. And I mean, Charles, you want to talk about that? Talk a little bit about multifamily.
I mean, it's stronger than everybody anticipated. I mean, I think it's going to be the buoy to the whole market for a good portion of the back half of the year. I mean, to Kyle's point, if demand has a little bit of a moderate uptick, prices will go back to where we were in some of these high levels in the South, right? So the demand is there. I still think the market overall is short, but maybe the numbers are better so they can actually afford to participate sooner versus everything being a 5-alarm fire is probably the biggest thing that I'm seeing as a whole.
Well, and the big thing right now is we were looking this morning at the spread between pine and spruce, which over the last 30 days has gone out over $100 a thousand. And I'll just say right now is like, if you're a multifamily, you've got anything that's starting September, October, November, now's probably a pretty good time to be looking to lock in your pine plate and pine studs. Call Charles. He's got the boat loaded for you right now. That's my shameless plug for you, brother.
Appreciate it. Can always depend on you, Greg.
Hey, Charles, real quick while you're on the floor here, what is the Southern pine market? Like I heard you. Could you regurgitate what you were talking to Greg about on the phone a little bit today?
We're not behind a paywall yet, are we?
Not yet.
No. Charles like, no, can't talk about it.
I mean, it's sloppy. You got mills that have given back a lot. I mean, some raw material that we got priced 2 weeks ago is off $185 on a delivered basis. I mean, literally 9 days to the date, right? So you got guys that have a lot of wood, and then you got guys that ripped the Band-Aid off 4 days ago, and they may not have enough left over to discount 40, 50, 60, 70 bucks, right? But a conversation I was having earlier today, a lot of this is going to fall in the lap of the Central Zone because on the West, Texas is the bellwether, right? I mean, if Texas firms up, markets get better, West side pricing increases, right? Well, if you've got a scenario to where you got the redheaded stepchild in the middle and they don't have liquidity either to the east or the west due to freight issues, they're going to have to put it on cars and send it to the Midwest. And I see that being a major player in how this thing cleans up as far as the velocity of it, right? They're just going to have to make decisions and make it go away.
That's good. That's a good point. A great point, Charles. Have you seen them load more on cars in the last few weeks?
Yeah. Out of necessity.
Yeah, out of necessity.
Not want to.
Good stuff. Matt, U.S. species. What's going on out west?
Orderly, I would say. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My microphone working?
Sounds like you're whispering, Matt.
Seriously, can you hear? Is my microphone working?
I hear
you sound great.
Okay.
You're good, dude.
You're not saying anything else.
You're doing great.
Lean into
it. We're just trading, right? I mean, it's been a good market. We're liquid. We're selling every day. We're selling production. I think green's a little softer than dry, so dry's been better than green. Green's now the cheapest species in North America again, which is, when that happens, it usually something changes. So green will go up a little bit and dry will come down a little bit, but that won't stay that way forever. So, I mean, look for some change in green pricing here to the upside over the next 3 or 4 weeks. And that puts a bit of a cap on dry prices also, right? I mean, if you're really high, then you're probably not going to go even higher if there's something cheaper out there that people can switch to. So there's that. And then as far as spruce goes, studs dimension, the whole thing, it's just been a steady week. I wouldn't say that we're not building order files, but we're certainly not losing order files out here. Most of our mills are out into the week of 8/17. Some stuff still left for 8/10, but a lot of the August wood is already spoken for. I mean, we've already sold halfway into the month and 2/3 of the way into the month. So we're going to lose production out west here in August. There's several mills that are taking time off to fix their boilers or planers or whatever, doing summer maintenance projects. You're going to lose a little bit of production from at least 3 mills that I'm aware of. 2 of them are ours and one of them's not. One's a mill that we do a bunch of business with on the outside. And they're not the only ones. Typical in August, September, October, you see a lot of these mill maintenance type projects going on. So the fires are kind of a story, but I don't know. I had this conversation with my futures broker the other day. I know that every year we talk about fires out west and everybody gets all excited about it, but I don't remember fires ever really moving the market one way or the other overall. I mean, it's like a talking point, but unless they shut the logging down and all the mills run out of logs, that really doesn't affect production all that much. It might have a downstream effect in October or November, but typically the mills are cutting logs they already purchased and harvested, that back in March, April, May.
The only time I remember it, Matt, doing it was years ago when you remember those pictures where the actual fires got near some of the mills.
When mills burn down or they evacuate the area,
yeah, they just shut it down.
For sure, you've got a problem, but that isn't the case.
Right.
Right. That's the other dichotomy that I see in the market is how big a premium coast hem fir and Doug fir are trading to the spruce market. We're up about as big as spreads, and I it has me thinking, is the relative demand to supply that much better in those consuming areas west of the Mississippi than in the spruce consuming areas in the east of the Mississippi? I don't know. I'm throwing that out there.
Some of it has to do with time of year. It's really hot, and so the stuff that people want to buy on purpose, they're going to buy on purpose. Now in October, November, December, they can swap species and do all kinds of other game playing type stuff that they're not going to do that in August. And so the guys that have to buy white fir in Phoenix are just going to pay the price for white fir in Phoenix in August, right? So there's that.
You mean pine in Phoenix isn't good in August?
I'm just using that as one example. So species are really constricted to their natural areas right now because of the heat. That's one thing. The other thing is that the tallies that we have available out in the West are a little bit different and more desirable right now than what is available from Canada, where a lot of the Canadian production is H16 or heavy 16 type tallies. And that's fine. 16s still have lots of value. But if you've got 18s and 20s and 2x6, it's worth a lot more. And if you've got 2x10, anything, it's worth a lot of money right now because there's just not a lot of 2x10 in this country at the moment. 2x8 is snuck up there quite a bit. It's either heaven or hell. We joke about that all the time. Nobody wants 2x8 until everybody wants it. And right now,
then nobody wants it. And then once you get it, nobody wants it.
In October, nobody's going to want it anymore. So, and then 2x12 just remains tight because the log diameter keeps shrinking out in the West. And so mills just don't make as much 2x12 as they used to. So that the 2x12 solution is buy more yellow pine, I guess. I don't know what the yellow pine mills are doing on 2x12, but they used to make a lot of it. So I would say that over the next 60 days, though, that those prices will equalize. You'll start to see a lot more trending towards flatlining between spruce, Doug fir, and hem fir. I mean, if you remember what happened last winter, Greg, I was shipping hem fir into the board and you were shipping hem fir into the board, and you could buy hem fir at a discount to spruce at that moment. So these things will change, but they're not changing at the moment. And I don't think they're going to change anytime soon. I mean, I think it's going to wait probably until later in the fall and early winter time.
I mean, I'm just loading up the boat to buy pine, sell spruce, sell hem fir, Doug fir. I mean, I feel like that's getting real close to being a big winning trade. Like when you're talking about like $100 to $150 winner.
Well, you're good at those types of trades.
Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. There's definitely an opportunity to do something like that. I'll just comment on the fir business and the hem fir, what we do in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. I mean, not everybody wants to change to pine in the wides, 2x10, 2x12. Now we are seeing some of it on the component guys and what have you, but a retail lumber yard is not necessarily going to put a lot of 2x10, 2x12 pine in his yard. So historically, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New England, for example, was a fir market anyhow. So you're seeing some of these guys that can't get Western premium spruce or enough European premium to now stock more Doug fir and high line white fir into their yards and stuff like that. So on a wide perspective, I think U.S. species is going to continue to have a lot of demand across the country because again, it's the yardability of Douglas fir versus southern yellow pine in the Northeast is just so much better. So you're going to see guys start to switch those things. But on the narrows, 2x6. Even though 2x6 fir has been crazy high, you do look at 8s, 10s, and 8s, 9s, and 10s and spruce relative to fir, and sometimes fir is cheaper depending on the item versus spruce. So there's just a lot of substitution that's happening right now, or in regard to those.
Hey, one other thing, Ash.
I love your cross trade though.
Yeah, Greg comes up with some snazzy ideas, doesn't he? It's almost like he's been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
I did go to a mill golf and giggle thing here last weekend, or Thursday and Friday, and had some time to talk to the owners and management of the sawmill, and then a whole bunch of other companies from all over the United States and Canada had flown in for this deal, and so I got a chance to network with some people I'd never met before and meet some new people that I didn't even know existed, that like a couple of young guys that worked for the trading companies that came up and sought me out and said, "Hey, we listened to your show. Nice to meet you," and all that stuff. So I found out that the people that run the mill listen to the show. So I mean, it was good to hear that. And it was nice and gratifying to know that people put a value on what they're getting from this. But yeah, I mean, don't be surprised if you go to NAWLA and somebody comes up and just arbitrarily introduces himself and says, "Hey, we listen to your show. Thanks. Keep it going." Cause they are paying attention here. So, and I also want to say that was a really fun event.
And if they slip an envelope, that's cool too. Charles,
well,
there you go.
My agent's got to take his cut out first.
Hey, for what it's worth, I reached out to Ashley right away. I said, I got to get this word out. And so you guys are a great platform to do it. You have a lot of listeners. I enjoy listening to it. I can't listen every week, but I have it on my Spotify list. So I go through it and you try to get caught up when I'm in the car for a long time.
So like I listened to us a couple of weeks ago you can like set the speed of like 1.5 or 2x. At 2x, we sound really good.
Like the chipmunks?
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
So just real quick, like bullish picks, bearish picks, we used to always do the marry, date, or done, but what's the one thing that people are bullish and bearish on items, and maybe something in the market that people are overlooking? I guess it's all kind of one and the same. And anybody can go first.
I guess G-Pop's bullish on yellow pine.
I mean, I want to be on the spread for sure. I mean, one of the things, Matt, you and I, we talked last week on the show, we were looking to sell September. I mean, I still thought that it might've had a chance to go 680 to 700. We started selling, didn't get on as many as we wanted, and now I'm saying, I'm going, okay. We've certainly had a correction. I mean, the daily chart, low 630s is kind of a trend line. So we probably get a bounce from that. But I'm looking at the weekly chart and I'm going, I don't know, with pine, with pine trading where it's at, I kind of feel like we got a downside target of like somewhere between 600 and 620 on Western spruce 2x4s. And so that, that tells me it's going to have a hard time for U.S. species to stay at, at that point, $100 premium, $80 to $100 premium. So So I guess I still think, I mean, the market's still in an uptrend. I mean, the market bottomed last November and is in a really nice uptrend since then. And that's still intact. And we know that the current prices are below Canadian mill break even. Yeah, I think US species are making money now. And, like the spreads should be, I mean, spruce should go down less, US species should go down more, and you buy the snot out of yellow pine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really bullish on.
I think that's great advice, Greg.
Yeah,
Load the
I would
boat.
say like
Buy it all.
kind from a mill's perspective
and
right
there's room
now,
in your yard
we're
to send it. Okay, nice.
whether you're a Canadian producer, a Western producer, Eastern producer, inland guy, I mean, these are pretty good prices, right? Mills are, worst case breaking even, best case making some money. And so when you go into seasonal weakness in the fall on a big yearly chart, mills like these prices are going to keep running. And, I think prices will naturally deflate a little bit here, as they always do. This is not me making this up, like not a gut feeling. This is just reading data. The downside is minimized by what Kyle talked about at the very beginning. How people's behavior in their buying strategies has been a lot more lean inventory, lots of turns, lots of daily transactions. And when that happens, you feel it. When you're a sawmill, you feel that. You see it, you experience it all day long. And so that gives you a little bit of a backbone, knowing that even though there's going to be some downward pressure on some of the prices, you're still going to have a lot of opportunities to sell lumber every day. What mills can't handle, this is what none of us can handle in the industry, is a down market with no liquidity. That's a nightmare, right? And we're not in that at all. I mean, we are absolutely, nobody in this industry is over their skis on inventory, whether it's a mill, a distributor, or a wholesaler. There's no big giant piles of unsold lumber sitting in a port somewhere. There's no stacks of moldy crap laying around that needs to get blown away. I mean, none of it. It's all gone. Over the last year and a half, all that lumber is gone, and it's not coming back. People have changed their strategies. They got burned hard enough. They are not doing it again. And then our customers at the very end of the chain, they don't want the cash out there. They don't want to spend a bunch of money holding inventory. They'll let you hold it for them, and they'll pay you a small margin to do that. So this is a really orderly market. I mean, if we could just dream up a market that we all agreed was fair and nice and fun, this year would be it, right? Last year sucked compared to this year. Last year we had all these head fakes. We had ups and downs, people trying to outguess the market, and then weather problems and production problems and Euro problems. And we had lots of problems last year, and politics and all this other stuff. Well, this year seems a lot more ideal, for everyone involved. I kind of like it.
I feel like we have just as many problems this year as last year, Matt.
It's
It's
just different problems.
They're just different.
problems.
They're just different problems. That's all.
Yeah.
It's funny that Greg and I
Different
we'll be working on problems during the day, and I'm like, God, it's so nice to have problems when things are going the right way. It's the worst to have problems when you're in a down market, like Matt said, with no liquidity, and then you have a problem. Like, you don't even want to come into the office.
Mhm.
But one of the interesting things, if you were just trading futures the last 3 or 4 months, probably sucked a little bit. Just if that was your livelihood, Matt, you just mentioned something. We were able to get rid of all of our cats and dogs sitting around in the last 3 weeks. And with people calling us back and saying, hey, do you have more cats and dogs?
Yeah.
I'm like, you just made me think of that. I'm like, shit, that's like, we moved those finger joints down in Texas that have been sitting there for a year and a half, 2 years. And the guys called me back and said, do you have more of those? We moved wet older lumber, obviously for the price of economy, in some cases, and people are like, do you have more of that? And it's like,
Yes, we do.
It's not really our business.
We got a little more.
I have a little more too.
So,
like the mills always say, it's not our business to produce number 3. So so what don't I like? I don't like anything 2x4, 104 and 5/8. As a matter of fact, if you're a multifamily person or somebody, you should be out there looking to get people to put forward numbers on that for you. You probably can get those below today's prices. I don't like, and I own some, I don't like 2x6, 104 and 5/8. I mean, I feel like I'm running around the chair right now with the music playing, and I got to get my ass in a seat and get those sold. I like the Southern Pine thing. I just don't know how you play it. You play it on futures, East Side Pine's high, and like Charles said, you almost got to play that physically out of the cheapest regions. So how do you do that? You got to physically take a hold of that stuff somehow. Yeah, you can trade it off futures too, but if the big money is made in buying the undervalued region and maybe selling the board against it, or maybe selling spruce against it. So I like that. So a lot of overvalued stuff. Most of the stuff out there still in the markets that we trade in are overvalued, right?
Well,
And then you take the COVID market out of there and you look at it, it's at, pretty much 100th percentile on a lot of stuff. So I feel like we're living on borrowed time on stuff, but I think a lot of people feel that way. And markets kind of keep plodding along
Yeah, and everybody wants it to go down so they can get their cheaper prices, right?
I'll just go back to this. I heard this from somebody. Markets go in the direction of what? The most pain, not gain, right?
Yeah.
So we're like, what is the, the direction today that hurts most? I mean, I feel like I'm in a position that I need to buy.
Yeah.
I don't like the levels to buy. As much as you talk about 2x6 9s as being so overvalued, tell me where I can buy 5 cars to like at a discount. Like it's so difficult to even find.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed.
How much of a discount would you like, Kyle?
So and the thing is that last year was a basis trader's dream, right?
Yeah. Dream.
This year it's very difficult to do anything from a basis perspective. We lived in this backwardation for almost 4 years during COVID, and it seems like the market's starting to form that again here. If we got just some level of confidence overall, I think it'd be good. I mean, we didn't talk about interest rates or whatever, but like, what do you guys think the Fed's going to do in here? I mean, I personally don't think they can do anything.
Nothing.
But yeah, so I think and you look at the existing home sales and new home sales, I think the marketplace is starting to recognize that interest rates aren't going to go down much over the next 3 or 4 years. And this is what it is. And it's a pretty normal range that we've bought homes in my lifetime, your lifetime.
I mean, yeah. Greg talked about the average median price of new homes dropping significantly. I mean, that's obviously the market solving a problem right there, right?
Yeah.
So when you let markets take the time and they'll figure out a way to fix this problem. Have you noticed that we all thought that rates were going to go down to like 5, and all the mortgage buddies that you've got and real estate agents for the last couple of years, oh yeah, it's going to go down to 5 and it's going to explode. Well, none of that ever happened, and yet real estate just keeps plodding along too. So you talk to your realtor, but I say realtor, everybody corrects me on that one, but I can't help it. It's like people that say Washington. Anyhow, they'll all tell you, oh yeah, we're just having the same kind of year we had last year. So the demand side on the housing is consistent also, right? And then you see the uptick in the multifamily. So something's working out there on a macro scale. I don't know that we can really. I've joked for years about mills have never found a market they couldn't find out how to screw it up, but this might be the one, because none of the mills that I'm talking to and do business with are increasing production. Like they can't.
One of the things that's interesting when you look at like, hey, money flows, where's big money for all of last year and into the early part of this year. When you look at the makeup of the futures market, managed money was short, the industry was long. As we said, last year that was, and every roll was $30, $40, $50, $1,000. That was a great time to be short futures, not a good time to be long futures. Over the last 60, 90 days, we're now in a position where managed money has gone from being short 5,000-6,000 contracts to now they're net long futures contracts. industry went from being long, and they
That's
were right, like for the first time in 18 months, and did, you know, got some money back, and now the industry's short 2 to 1.
Yeah,
So
and you know, I think we all, you know, knowing like how far above we were from the 200-day moving average and what was happening. You listened to a couple of your things. I still believe the highs are ahead of us in this market for this year. Where they'll ultimately settle out, I don't know, but we're in a very, you know, you said this earlier. We're in a very bullish, you know, trend right now. Like overall, it hasn't broken down. You know, maybe we get a buying opportunity here over the next 2 or 3 weeks, but I don't think it takes much for this market to kind of, you know, find, you know, heavy liquidity again. There's a lot of multifamily projects that are not covered for the balance of this year. They're still out there that need to be covered. And we just talked about 2x4 9s. You know, the other item I've been looking at a lot recently too, and I've been, you know, carrying a little bit more because it's been undervalued for such a long time, is 2x4 14s. Even though it's come up a lot over the last 2 months, it's still trading at historically low numbers relative to 16s. And I think it's going to get even tighter as we move into the next like 8 to 10 weeks.
God, I hope you're right, because I've got so many of those piled up in my inventory right now. I'm selling them at number 3 prices.
And I had
really
to apologize
pisses
to
me off.
Greg for selling 2 really cheap to a good customer last night about 9:30 while I was watching TV. I came in, I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. But
I'm fine with be cheap, be busy at this stage of the game, Ashley.
Well,
you know, that's like, you know, and you know, Ashley did the classic is, you know, it was way better to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission.
yeah.
yeah,
Ready, fire, aim.
I'm like, sorry about that. Well, that's cool, Kyle. We're looking forward to putting the thing out on NAWLA. And what else is going on over at Sherwood that we should know about?
You know, nothing like, you know, super new and exciting. Just continuing to build off of, you know, our exterior building products program. So we're doing a lot of stuff on the building materials side, particularly in Pennsylvania, which is our newest distribution center that we opened up back in April. Just excited to continue to expand on that. You know, also, you know, getting the Brunswick Valley team more involved with Sherwood Lumber, which is kind of a fun thing as well. We just they just went live with the same ERP system as us on July 1st, so they're almost 1 month in. You know, still running both separate organizations, but gives us an opportunity to kind of compare and contrast and start to share some opportunities with Sherwood Distribution Network for them and some of their mill network for us. So we're excited about that.
So you're keeping Jennings in line? Is that what you're saying, Kyle?
Yes, yeah,
Mike. How's that leash? How's that leash? It's just the right leash.
He's a good
he's
dude.
doing well.
I like Mike.
Mike's a great dude. I love him. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much, Kyle.
Thanks for having me.
We'll look forward to seeing you in a couple months.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Okay.
Thank you.